So I'm going to talk about what I've been traveling around the country and seeing as kind of national, really international trends around the innovation economy, and then try to relate it to my hometown here, and four kind of specific ideas at random that I see as parts of how we take advantage, capture this opportunity out there. So the big opportunity is this amazing nexus between three things that are going on in terms of kind of our emerging understanding of cities in the world. One is this juggernaut of the innovation economy, all these amazing creative entrepreneurs, intensely American kind of thing, inventing, creating things, launching businesses. The second is the power of our urban anchor institutions, universities, and hospitals. And with that, kind of a triple-barreled coming together around those institutions in terms of the first, their recognition about the importance of commercialization of research and innovation in what they're doing. And it's amazing how many universities now have, czars of innovation. And Ron Daniels just brought on Christy Weissko as his new guru of innovation. Been talked about forever. The need to commercialize. Hopkins has always sucked at it, but important and really out there, bigger than ever. The second thing that goes along with that is the epiphany that really began with at Penn some years ago with Judy, when she recognized kind of a lose-lose situation in West Philadelphia, where Penn was suffering with a neighborhood that was literally collapsing around them, making it very difficult to attract faculty, students, and staff. And the neighborhood's recognizing that instead of the university as their favorite enemy, that maybe there was an opportunity coming out of the universities in terms of their power to bring resources into the neighborhood, to bring customers, homeowners, buyers, customers for restaurants, through their procurement to create business opportunities, the whole galaxy of opportunities coming out of the huge economic engines and talent engines that are our urban institutions that create this win-win possibility or opportunity of having prospering neighborhoods instead of war zones around these institutions, and for the neighborhoods the chance to really build a new economy out of the ashes of our old industrial economy. So that's the second thing, is the power of anchor institutions in our cities. And the third, related to that, is the emerging recognition of how to transform neighborhoods that we're getting really pretty smart about as to what is a great neighborhood. And it's not just affordable housing, it's not just this, it's not just that, but it's the whole kit and caboodle, which is what Jim Rouse really was all about when he set out to do Sandtown Winchester. Really need to deal with the whole ecosystem of a neighborhood in a big way, and it's made us much more sophisticated how we address the biggest issues facing our society here in America, which I believe are going to be won or lost in terms of this whole experiment with democracy, about how we deal with them in our big cities. The issues of race, poverty, health, public education, and ultimately economic opportunity. We're either going to fix it and make it work here in our cities, or I think we're going to, it's not going to work here. So that kind of coming together of the innovation economy, anchor institutions, and our sense that are really focusing on neighborhoods and transforming them in a very holistic sense to make them truly great places to live, work, have fun, and learn. So taking those three things together, this notion of knowledge communities, where we had a lot of fun beginning 18 months ago working with Wexford and their partners, traveling the country, kind of looking at what was cooking around those three things, and the changing paradigm of research parks, of university research parks. The old one being Research Triangle, boring, standalone research buildings out in the suburbs surrounded by vast acres of parking. Dulles Dishwater, new paradigms being intensely urban, Cambridge, MIT, UCSF, Mission Bay, a whole new model that is an incredibly powerful ecosystem that by its very nature is attractive to entrepreneurs, to creative talent, top researchers, venture funders, all the ingredients that you've been talking about as being kind of essential in coming together and creating the environment that will drive business startups and innovation. And with that, being it's kind of like going back to the best book on cities, my favorite, Jane Jacobs' Life and Death of Great American Cities, this essential element that is what cities are all about in our society, which is density and diversity, and bringing all kinds of different people, and creating that kind of random rubbing shoulders, bumping up, that is what cities are all about. That's lively, fun, mixed use, walkable neighborhoods, and all those kind of things. So that's the basic idea that I believe is enormously hopeful for our cities, not just here in America, but all across the world. We're working in 8 cities right now: St. Louis, Winston-Salem, Durham, Washington, Boston, Philadelphia, Providence, San Francisco, and Baltimore. And what to me is exciting about, of course Boston, of course San Francisco are hot spots for that, but to be able to go to Durham and see the amazing juggernaut of activity in the downtown Durham, which was deader than a doornail not that long ago, and the fact that Research Triangle is desperately trying to remake itself into something that's more urban, fake urban, and the win-loss column of the businesses that are looking, the cool, innovative businesses are looking for where to go, that aren't choosing Research Triangle and are instead choosing downtown Durham and American Tobacco as a choice. So very hopeful for cities across America as we talk about where the future might lie in this new world. So 4 specific ideas that I'd like to relate to Baltimore that I think are all very possible and would be enormously helpful in advancing the cause of innovation in the innovation economy. Number 1 is transit, one of our favorite topics with Mike here. One statistic, Collegetown Network has been polling for a decade graduating seniors about where they're going, where they want to go, why they're not staying in Baltimore. And if you could pick one measure of the power of a city to grow and innovate, it would be the ability to keep all these great, creative, talented young folks as they come out of our schools. So every year they poll the graduating seniors. Well, where are you going? Why are you going? What do you really want to have where you live? And what is missing? And in particular, what's missing in Baltimore? Number 1 for the last decade, number 1 has been the lack of transit. It's not schools, it's not crime, it's not property taxes, it's lack of transit. People want to live without a car. And I think we have this opportunity today in Baltimore to actually get over the hump and become a transit town. The work that the Transit Choice Gang and Central Maryland Transit Alliance is working on. 5 pieces of that. The Red Line, I think, is hugely important, which actually connect everything together and get our little fragmented pieces of transit to work together. The MARC commuter rail expansion, unbelievable, the power of a commuter rail system to link a region together. Go up to New York City, ride Metro North, and you'll see the possibility to do that here in Maryland with MARC. Third, the simple and inexpensive things that have been done just in the last few years to connect stuff together. The circulator, the free circulator bus, which is now being extended in a bunch of places, and the free water taxi, which is just starting. We're trying to make it more. We have this unbelievable harbor that's fun and idiosyncratic and very intimate. I think it's one of the greatest harbor opportunities anywhere that you can see. But it's a pain in the neck to get around right now. You can go through the tunnel or you can go all the way around through downtown. It takes forever. I always can beat somebody leaving Tide Point, get in the kayak, paddle across. I'll be sitting on my 2nd cup of coffee at the Daily Grind before somebody drives around. Thanks so much. And the 4th thing that we're doing, just to make the choice not to have a car so much easier, hugely important, is car share, which is exploding across town. And the 5th is just the lifestyle changes in the walkable neighborhoods. Somebody called up and said, well, which neighborhoods in Baltimore are walkable? You start going, ooh. There's a ton of neighborhoods right now that are really great to walk around. So what's the result of that? And the result of that is the story of Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley looked all around the world twice, 2 different divisions, looked at India, looked whatever, and they ended up at Harbor Point in Thames Wharf. 900 employees. 2009, when the Waterfront Partnership did its transportation management planning process, they interviewed and surveyed employees. 82% of the 900 employees at Morgan Stanley drove their car to work. It's about average, 80-85% for downtown workers. 2012, circulator was put in, the free water taxi was put in, better bike stuff, car share, and they started charging for parking. The employees had free parking. That's another important part of the whole thing. And in 2012, 38% were driving their cars to work, less than half the number that were driving before. And 2/3 of those 900 employees, average salary $90,000, were living within 2 miles in city, paying payback tax, property taxes. My big argument with my friend Carl Stokes about how this stuff doesn't help the city economics. Clearly, it can. So that's one, transit. What we can do with transit, I think very true. The second is we have great universities here in creating knowledge communities, vibrant, lively, dense, urban, all this stuff that we've been learning around from traveling around the country. Here in our hometown, here at the Biopark, as they talk about the Southwest Partnership, working with the community, make this lively, fun, dense, a lot of cool things going to the work. Transit Serve, the new Red Line station will be right across the street. The amazing investments going on at EBGI. The third university knowledge committee that I think is enormously exciting is Station North, with Micah and with Hopkins and the University of Baltimore, with what Deb's doing in terms of kind of the marriage of the creative digital arts and all those young kids with IT. One of the most energetic segments of the startup world. We have a great base to build on here in Baltimore, and get all them gaming guys out of Hunt Valley back to where they belong, into 10 East North Avenue, Penn Station, get that fixed up. So we have some great knowledge community opportunities right here in our hometown. And with that is the third idea that I've been talking to Deb about, is the sense of trying to create a more coherent innovation tech strategy for our city around creating clusters. Where are the logical asset strengths, kind of neighborhoods, amenities, where